The Third Symphony is a clear continuation of the Second Symphony's ideas, and this Heiligenstadt Testament idea that we spoke about before, with the commitment of Beethoven writing for the world and writing for people. The Third Symphony, of course, as many people know, was dedicated to Napoleon and was aggressively scratched out because he proclaimed himself emperor, and this was something that Beethoven could not tolerate and could not accept. He thought Napoleon would be a great unifier and a great liberator of the people, and found out that in fact he would probably just be another dictator and autocrat, as all of the others were. I find the Third Symphony extremely difficult to perform, because there is this moment in which he is leaving the chrysalis, but a new way is being developed, a new sound, a new aesthetic, a new structure, a new artistic impetus, a new aggression. Many new things start showing up in the Third Symphony. And it's, of course, easily said a masterpiece, but it is still a thing that is changing. It is, and one can feel this unbelievable tension to resist going back to common forms. I have to say it just like that. It is an act of resisting, of going back to the common form, or the form that he had achieved from before. This is unbelievable, because that means that every moment he is redefining what a symphony is, redefining what music is, redefining how an orchestra plays, whether it's with the three horns or whether it's with a theme and variation finale that has then a operatic-like andante at the end, very akin to a Mozart Le Nozze di Figaro, whether it is a funeral march that is a completely different structure and different type of music than has ever been written in a symphony, with that type of really profoundly heavy and dense type of super musical expression. It is constantly trying to avoid being like it was before. And so in that way, we have to navigate as artists, as musicians, as conductors. How do we highlight those things, but highlight them in a way that doesn't seem arbitrarily modern? And what do I mean by that? Well, when we are performing the Beethoven symphonies, we are not starting from scratch. We are looking back on hundreds of years of tradition. And some of those traditions were rooted in different traditions, and you can say, well, the old German tradition is the best, and those traditions come from different conductors who had very specific agendas. You can say the modern, the early music movement is the tradition that everyone should follow into, and those musicians and conductors were trying to go back to an even different type of style. All of this is now inside of the 2020 orchestra, and we're constantly trying to navigate how to deal with those, in some cases, completely polar opposite artistic expressions. But I see that more as an opportunity, because I see the old German masters, the great old conductors, the Karajan's, the Furtwänglers, I see those as great artists and great sound makers and people who were going for the deep pathos that Beethoven was going after. And I see conductors like John Eliot Gardner or Harnoncourt to be going after a completely different type of thing, which is perfectly valid and wonderful. and in a way maybe going back to those symphonies and giving them a good old brush off and a shining up and getting back to some of the details that have been overlooked over the years. And I think that that's important because it forces us to go back to the score and take a look at it. But that doesn't mean that those two aesthetics are really at war with each other. I refuse to see that way. I think that our art form is more rich than that, and that it can afford diversity.